Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I will be doing trade targets for round 2, the first edition of this for the 2024 AFL Fantasy season, and something that seemed to be very popular last year and something that I seem to be able to do pretty well. I think across multiple games, at least fantasy games, I seem to be not the best at having a starter team, but seem to be able to trade pretty well. So hopefully this is the video that I can give you the best insight into and my thoughts on it. And again, like we did last year, I'll try and stay away from the rookies because we generally talk about them in the Cash Cows episode. So I'll stick away from guys that are sort of sub 400k or so, like I sort of explained in the Cash Cows previously. But anyway, before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So number 1 on the traded in list is Tristan Xerri, and I understand why. Totally understand why. It is, if you look here, it'll be, I'm guessing, a straight swap for Grundy. Yep, Grundy and Ollie Wines straight swapped out. Newcomb, Sicily, Josh Gibson. So you have poor game, not the role we expected. ACL season ender, another really poor game, a potential suspension, which is currently the tribunal is ongoing, and that's, I'll be honest with you, it's, what time is it now? 5:50, and I don't know which way it's going to go. Then you have Zach Reed, 4 to 6 weeks. I understand why he's been traded out. Zach Fisher, this is such a rage trade, I feel. Connor Buderick, another really low score, similar to the Brody Gundy situation, yet there's no real direct sort of do you go up, do you go down sort of scenario there with Connor Buderick. Similar thing with Caulfield, Clark, and then Williams at his bye. Don't understand this trade, to be honest with you. Hewitt and then McKenzie also, people trying to trade off the buy or something like that, which is just not the smartest strategy to an extent, especially these early ones. You should have just cop it, I think, with a lot of these guys, or shouldn't have set up your teams to have that many. So yeah, I think this is where a lot of people are going to fail because they're going to go on big picks, and you'll see what I mean in a second with some of them. So we look at this, and I can tell you right now, Xerri, I understand this. I probably won't do this swap because I have faith in Brody Grundy, 1, and 2. I sort of have a bailout option anyway if it fails again, which is what I don't expect to happen. I think he does do well against the who do they have? Essendon. They've got Goldstein. I think he can beat Goldstein around the ground, and I think his tackling should be back up. He only laid, I think, 1 tackle and didn't have that many marks, I don't think, and had the 7 free kicks against. So, yeah, I expect... let me actually just check that. Check my stats. We're actually right about that. 6 tackles again. So, yeah, I was wrong about him not laying tackles. It was his marks that were down by 3, and his handballs down by... his handballs, and he only had 8 disposals where he had 23 in the first game. So I expect him to be sort of that 16, 17 disposal guy, and that already right there is around that 15 points improvement. And say his free kicks are back to a normal range of a -8 or 9 for a ruckman, that already is another sort of 8 or 9 points. So you're already starting to see a 30-point just bounce back right there. And he had a really poor game, and he's going to mark more, I think. So I'm not too worried about Brody Grundy, to be honest with you, comparative to others. I would have liked Xerri to have scored like an 80, so it wasn't as obvious. But, yeah, I don't mind the pick for other people, but I have more pressing issues, to be honest with you, that I think will set me up more for the buy than going a straight swap with that, with Xerri and also Grundy. And my basic premise is that, yes, Xerri will make more money than Grundy. I think that's going to happen because Xerri's probably going to put up, I suspect, an 80 and Grundy sort of a 90 or 90, 95, 100. So yes, Xerri is going to make more money. Secondly, I think I can make up the gap in the sort of generation of cash that I'm going to get through Xerri versus Grundy in a difference of another guy. And I think that other guy will also have that increase in scoring. So that is why I'm going to stick away from the Grundy to Xerri swap. I understand that it is a good swap. I'm just saying on an overall scheme of things, if you look at both trades in itself, I'm going to be able to make more money in doing a different set of trades than just isolating the Cherry and Grundy trade and then trying to find another trade around it. One, because I have more things I need to fix up, and two, because I have more belief in Grundy that 53 is an odd man out rather than a norm that we're going to see. Like, I expect that to be similar to what Laird was doing with a 57. I'm not saying Grundy's going to do the 119 or whatever that, or Laird, or 109 that Laird did, but I'm saying Laird started to pick it up after that and went, something like 114 after that or whatever. So I'm expecting a Grundy to go a 90 this week and start to pick up those 90s and really resurrect that break even. D'Ambrosio is the second guy on the list here, and I don't know about this pick. Do not know about this pick, and that is because he's playing a wing role, and we know how wings are volatile, so I would rather stay clear of that pick just because he was named on the wing. And if we actually go on, you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. I think, where is it? Here we go. You'll hopefully see exactly what I mean by this. If we go here, go to fantasy points, we go to D'Ambrosio, we go heat map here. You'll see D'Ambrosio, it's all over the wings a little bit. So I don't know what's going to happen with D'Ambrosio, so that's why I'm going to stay clear of it. I'm just going to look at D'Ambrosio's heat map. I know it was for a different side, but if we look at his heat map in a full game here, for Essendon, round 7, a little bit more defensive actually, and he didn't pick up much of the ball. So what's he going to do with the Hawks system? I don't know exactly. So that is why I'm necessarily going to stay clear of things, especially because with Sicily being out, they may go more defensive and more accountable, and that may mean that Amon moves out of that role and back to the wing. And what happens with D'Ambrosio? Does he move off the wing or whatever? Even though he had a good game, what happens with him? So that is why I'm a little bit worried with D'Ambrosio, and that's why I'm sort of staying clear of him this week. I think other content creators have said the same thing, is we want a guy on a good roll. We don't want to just chase a score, and I feel like D'Ambrosio is chasing a score. But I really like this role, and if the role sticks, he is probably going to be a guy that I may heavily consider. So that is why I think 6.1k, that is rational thinking there. Going him. Ollie Dempsey, we talked about him in the rookies. Jack Billings, 140. I think this is a slight chasing of the points, but also he did go 90 before when he was at, Saints. So I don't necessarily mind this one. I just think there are bigger problems that I have at this moment, so I won't probably go with this. And so yeah, I don't necessarily mind this one, but I will be staying clear of this. And I just want to check with James Jordan, what's his break even? His is a 32, and I believe Billings is similar as well. Billings is a 31. So you look at that and you're thinking, but they're not very different, other than the fact that Billings did it in one game and James Jordan did it in 2. So yeah, I don't think Billings is going to take 15 uncontested marks again out of his 23 touches, so I don't think that's replicable. So I think if to a certain extent there is some price chasing, some score chasing, points chasing, whatever you want to call it, but I do think that he can average an 85, being honest with you. So that's why I think he still is a good trade-in, as he's currently priced at around, roughly, if I do my big old, get my calculator out, 538 divided by what I think the number is still, times that by 1,000. He's still probably priced around that 59 or so range. So I don't think 75, 80 is still too bad, given that he's got his break even down. So I don't think that's still a bad trade. I just don't expect him to put up big tons anymore. Or on the regular, I should say. Caleb Sarong, I think this is price chasing. I think a lot of people are potentially going for a more guns and rookie strategy now with the rookies that have popped up, and potentially going two mid prices. One of them including like a Ollie Wines, and then going Sarong and also a like Dempsey or something. I don't mind that type of strategy. I just think this is slight points chasing. Then you have Charlie Dean, Jeremy Sharp, Charlie Dean, Matt Crouch. I think this is points chasing as well. I don't think it's too valuable to go from a Wines to a Crouch, as Crouch still has a 69 break even. It's not like he broke the break even again, and I don't think that price change is technically right. I think it would be more like a 20k price rise rather than a 28. So I don't think that's technically right. So I don't think Matty Crouch is going to score a 113 regularly. I think he can go 95, which would be massive price rises of like 20k per week. But I think you can get more value in going like a Bonner or someone else like that who is going to score potentially a gap of, what's Bonner's break even? Bonner's break even is a 24. I think he could go 80, 90, 100, and that's 60 to 80 point gap on his break even, which are those type of 50k jumpers. So I would rather that than hoping for a Matt Crouch 120 again. Nat 5 and Isaac Heaney. Isaac Heaney, I think, annoying thing is I don't think you can almost pick him now for AFL Fantasy, but I think you can definitely pick him in Supercoach just because the price rise hasn't occurred yet. Isaac Heaney, I think he is a decent. I still think he's a decent trade in for AFL Fantasy, but I don't know if it's necessarily a knockout trade. I think that there are better options. Yes, he will score really well, I think, but I don't know if he'll necessarily back up 120s each week, like he's been doing recently. So I don't know if I'd necessarily be including him in my trade plans. Obviously, I won't have to personally do it, but if I was you and I didn't have him, I'd probably look elsewhere for guys that are really going to catch, guys that are still going to score 90s, but are really going to generate cash. Nat 5, I like this pickup as well. I didn't think he'd have the non-disposals that he did, but he had 7 tackles and 2 marks, 3 free kicks, 4 for an 86. Yeah, I really like this trade. Only problem for me is that I can't get him in, to be honest with you, as simple as that. I don't think at the moment, because I would rather pick up a Bonner at the moment, just because I feel like Bonner has the ability to go 120. With the way St Kilda play, he could easily go 120, whereas I don't know if Nat 5 has that ability, and I think Nat 5 is more prone to a 50 than the likes of a Bonner is. Perkins, I think this is chasing the cash as much as you can. I think Parrish is just going to go directly back into the midfield, and that is going to wreck Archie Perkins, so I wouldn't be going there, even though Archie Perkins has a 34 break even. I just think you can just go directly to honestly, just go to Billings or Fife, and you'll get, if not more cash gen, but you're more solidified in their role. You know their role. Blake Howes, and we talked about him. Harry Sheasel, another one that a lot of people are correcting to. I don't mind it. I've seen one of my mates, I'm suggesting going to him because they got the Buderick stuffed up, and basically what he's considering is Buderick and Wines to a Sheasel and a Dempsey or another rookie, a Sharp or something like that, and that is probably a good trade because you're going more guns and rookies, and you're getting away from Buderick, who looks to be more of a lockdown player. At the moment, him and Hewlin look to be lockdown or interchanging lockdown roles, sort of, and not really that third or fourth sort of distributor that really doesn't get part of the pie. And he's also got Wines, who we all thought was going to be a lot better than he was, and that role was trash. So we'd rather go for a cash-generating asset in like a Bonner or even up to a premium by then. We talked about Marty Hall and Toby Pink in the defender. Sorry, not in the defenders, in the cash cows. So we went through them. So we went through McKercher. Don't think this Tom Green classic chasing the points. No, that is the case for him. And then also think Gawn is sort of a redirect from potentially Grundy. If those had Sherry as well, I think some have flicked over to Gawn, as he has a 76 break even now, and you would expect him to go, I don't expect him to go 112, but I sort of expect him to be a 105, 110 guy, which is right on the toes of the top two ruckman in English and Marshall. So I don't think he's too bad of an option at the moment, although I would probably... the thing is, I think you can just do that Grundy too. If you already had Sherry and you had Grundy there, I'd be getting him up to Gawn, to be honest with you, so I don't mind that trade either. McKercher, Green, we talked about. Whitfield, same thing, chasing the points, simple as that. Wouldn't go there. Luke Ryan, I understand this one, and I flirted with it for a second. I just couldn't get the cash to grab it, so I won't be going him. But I understand this trade as we had preseason reports that he wasn't going to be fully 100% fit, and he looked great. So yeah, those preseason reports were a little bit off, and so yeah, his kicking was really good, and his meets game pretty much disproved that he couldn't kick the ball. Hewland, I think this is not the best trade, to be honest. He's a lockdown. His role isn't there. Matty Rowell, again, chasing the points. Flanders, again, chasing the points. I don't think you should be trading a guy in a week before they have a bye. I don't think these guys will necessarily... Flanders has an 80 break even. The most I see him going up is like 10k, 15k, so 840, 850k. I can grab him after the bye through Jackson or through potentially Grundy as a get out of jail card with Grundy. Rowell, also 82 break even. I don't see him necessarily breaking it open, and I only see him going up to potentially 885, 890k by the time his buy hits. So I think he could almost be the first upgrade target. When's his actual buy? 14, yep, perfect for post buy. If he goes again and goes 100 again, 110, I might go post buy and grab him up, as he's got the Giants. He's got a pretty good run, I think, for inside mids, actually. So, yeah, I'll check that out and double check that. But I think he could be one that is the first upgrade, to be honest with you. Rowell, Flanders, Nick Dacos. I think this is, again, points chasing. I would be sticking clear of him if you didn't have him already, as the gap now starts to really dwindle between needing Nick Dacos to go bigger. I said, I think, pre-round or in the Collingwood Sydney review that 123 was about Nick Dacos' line, for it being good for the non-owners and owners. Now, if you were to trade Nick Dacos in, that line sort of creeps up towards that 127, 128 that you need from Nick Dacos each round to make it viable. I think mathematically wise, James could easily prove me wrong. But yes, I don't think Nick Dacos is that worthwhile at the moment. And I think it's more points chasing, similar to Andy McGrath. We've seen him burn so many people. He's burnt me in the past, so I'm not going there. As his role looks lucrative every year, and yeah, no thank you. Jordan Clark was starting to get guys. I think 500 will be around the range that I stop looking at guys. Jordan Clark, I considered this. I just don't know 100% about this role, and with 697 guys, you sort of want them to be that almost 100 guy, and I don't know if he can consistently do that. Similar with Miles Bergman, I think this is definitely just chasing the points. He's 569k and put up 100 score. I think people are chasing the points there. Darcy Wilson, understand this, surprised it's not more. Maybe already a lot of people have him, so they didn't need to trade him in. Harvey Gallagher, understand this as well. It's actually not that bad of a play given he's 225. This is what we look for. I just think there are so many other issues a lot of people have that there is almost... Harvey Gallagher's almost out of the question of can we actually grab him. So yes, I will probably not be grabbing him. Jesse Hogan, I think this is way too much of a points chaser, and I wouldn't be grabbing him. And then you have Max Holmes here. I understand the play there with Max Holmes as well. So that is pretty much the video there of the trade targets for round 2, the first trade targets of the year, and one of the better performing videos across the year anyway. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys for my AFL tips and predictions for round 2, and then also my team reveals across Supercoach and Fantasy, where I probably actually have to spend another 20 minutes or half an hour thinking about Supercoach across the next couple of days, because I haven't really thought about it too much, especially with the new injuries that we've had. But anyway, I will see you guys on the next recording. Will be on Thursday for those videos that I just stated. But anyway, I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.